Well, you know, things are not going well for the Democrats when even Bill DeBlasio admits they've got problems. Take a look.
I think it's always a fair question with Democrats. Are we doing everything that we can constitutionally and appropriately to fight crime? And I think the Democratic Party has to look at this issue much more honestly and say, hey, there are some places where we should be doing better. Our leaders should be doing better.
And it's true. Some of the most dangerous places in this country are completely run by Democrats. Let's take a look. Chicago is a great example, and New York looks like it is next. De Blasio has praised the Democratic nominee for mayor, Marxist commie Zohran Mamdani, who has a very progressive way of dealing with crime. Now, Zohran is a proud Democratic socialist, and their official party platform demands there be no prosecution for crimes like third-degree sexual assault, petty larceny, drug possession, menacing, DWI, forcible touching, sexual misconduct, sexual abuse, identity theft. The group says that, you know, all of that can slide because law enforcement is, quote, an instrument of class war and racism. Zohran also independently wants to decriminalize prostitution. Remember, this guy is a defund, dismantle, no bail, reimagine, send in the social workers, socialist liberal that wants more social workers responding to calls than actual police. He said it himself in his own words. Take a look.
New Yorkers rightfully have concerns around public safety, and I want to empower police officers to respond to serious crime and hire the mental health professionals to respond to mental health calls.
All right, but you could say the same thing about Zohran's Marxist economic policies. They are straight out of the failed communist playbook: raise taxes, punish success. He doesn't believe billionaires should exist. He wants to raise property taxes, spend all that money, free buses, free childcare, free gifts for new parents, government-operated grocery stores, eminent domain to take away some units in terms of property in New York. The reality is he's going to end up spreading the wealth out of New York City into my free state of Florida and the rest of the country. If this guy becomes the New York City mayor, why would any financial institution stay in New York? Real estate experts, they are already predicting a mass exodus from New York if Marxist Mamdani wins. Even Andrew Cuomo said he'd move here to Florida. So why are New York City Democrats about to destroy their own city? Well, we welcome back to the program. I know he's been dying to come back. Former New York City Mayor Bill DeBlasio. I never thought you'd come back. It's taken all this time. Why haven't you come to visit us on a more regular basis?
I waited for the invitation. I was waiting by the phone, man.
Last time we were arguing if every New Yorker should have the same protection you have on guns, and you said every New Yorker has the right to be safe, and I'm like, that's not the question. Does every New Yorker have a right to have a gun in their house? And you wouldn't answer. Do you think every New Yorker should have the right to a weapon in their home?
I don't think that's the way to get to safety, Sean. Sean, you know, we had a great discussion last time. And let's just be straight up with each other. You know, when you talk about Zohran, for example, I mean, the hype there, I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general, the hype is ridiculous. This is a guy who is going to be, I think, a sane and practical leader if he is elected. By the way, I've talked to a lot of police officers who would like to see all those mental health calls handled by mental health professionals, because cops shouldn't have to also be mental health professionals on top of everything else.
Okay, so let's go through that. So we're in the middle of the subway system, and you have a social worker down there instead of a police officer who's threatening to kill people, and you're going to go, sir, did anything happen in your childhood that perhaps caused you to be triggered in this moment to threaten to kill people? Is that what you're envisioning? Is that what reimagine the police means to you?
No, listen, Sean, as mayor, I chose Bill Bratton as my police commissioner, followed by Jimmy O'Neill, Dermot Shea, career NYPD leaders who did an amazing job. We drove down crime 6 years in a row before COVID hit. So let's be clear. The idea that police officers do their jobs best when we can help them not have to deal with all the other problems of the world. Again, officers will tell you that. Now, if you say a situation that's going to be potentially violent, of course I want police officers there. That was what we did.
Okay, then let me put up on the screen Zohran Mamdani's tweet: queer liberation means, we'll scroll it, defund the police. He said there's no queer liberation under occupation. This is a guy that says we need to ban all guns, but he's going to be protected by police officers that are armed and have guns. We are the birthplace of the global socialist feminist movement. We need free abortion and contraception on demand. Climate change is the central issue of our time. The climate crisis is not separate from the crisis of capitalism. Decarbonize our economy, oppose all new fossil fuel infrastructure, tax the rich, reclaim the wealth from bosses and corporations that they steal. He wants to raise property taxes, put rent freezes in place, free buses, free government-operated food, free child care, free gifts to new parents. Now, if that's not Marxism, tell me what is.
So, Sean, you know, the people in New York City, the voters in the Democratic Party, you know New York City well. Democrats, you got conservative ones, you got liberal ones, everyone in between. They voted overwhelmingly for him because they believed he was actually speaking to their reality. New York City is not affordable enough. And here's a guy who said, I'm going to do something about it. And when New Yorkers, for example, hear free buses, which is a solution that's being used all around the United States right now, they think, okay, that actually would make my life better. That's like a kitchen table issue. By the way, if Democrats talked the way Zohran Mamdani does about everyday affordability and the cost of living, if they focused like he did, Democrats will be winning all over the country.
Right, but he said defund the police. He said end cash bail. He said he wants social workers instead of police officers. He said he wants permanent safe injection sites. He claimed white supremacy has many faces, including the police and prison systems. This is a guy that wants to abolish medical bills, abolish private insurance. This is a guy that called Bibi Netanyahu a war criminal and would not condemn the term global intifada. And you're supporting this guy. You're putting out tweet after tweet after tweet saying how great he'd be.
Yeah, look, I was mayor of New York City for 8 years, and I understood in that process what it takes to actually address what people are going through in the city. That's why we did pre-K for all. We did
why didn't
universal
you put
pre-K
in
for free.
permanent safe? Wait a minute. Why didn't you put in permanent safe injection sites? Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you end cash bail? Or you did?
Wait a minute.
I guess
We did.
Cuomo
Hold
did.
on. We did put in overdose prevention centers. They have been an incredible success, saving lives, Sean, saving lives of people who unfortunately are addicted and giving us a chance to get them to treatment. Okay? Cash bail. I said, listen, I'm very clear about it. I think the law that was passed in New York State was written the wrong way. And I think judges should have been given discretion. And that there's been some progress to now do that. But I'm the first to say I believe that there should not be cash bail where someone who does a minor offense languishes in jail because they can't afford a small amount of money. That makes no sense. On the other hand, a judge has a right to say if someone has a clear criminal record and is a threat to the community, they should be held in. Democrats should not be afraid to say those kind of things, to strike that kind of balance. And I think you'll be surprised that Mamdani is a lot more practical than I think you realize he is.
You say that, but then you got a guy that now says no prosecution for crimes like third-degree assault, for petty larceny, for drug possession.
Well, wait. You said that's the
DWI.
DSA
Hold
platform.
on.
Sean,
For forcible
hold on.
touching.
Let's be factual. You didn't say him. You
The
said
group says that
the DSA
that-
platform. And
Okay,
I don't look.
well, he hasn't-
I think
he
they
hasn't
go too
condemned any
far.
of it.
I think they go too far, Sean.
Here's my question. Because, look, I'm perfectly fine with Mamdani winning. You want to know why? Because it's not going to impact my life. I left New York. You know why I left New York? High taxes, quality of life, crime. I had a hard time going to a restaurant in New York City because people would stare at me and hated me and they had daggers in their eyes. You know what? I'm loved down here in Florida. Now, I don't know why New Yorkers are so intolerant, but that was my life in New York. So I left. And
Wait a minute, Sean,
one
I
of
thought
the
you
best
left 'cause of-
decisions I made.
I thought you left because of Brian Cashman and the Yankees not being able to get together.
No, I like Brian Cashman, actually. I think he's a pretty good guy. Look, if you're going to support a Marxist, and this is where the party's headed, defund, dismantle, no bail laws,
No, it's
reimagine the police, because that's where Mamdani is in his own words.
No.
If you're going to, oh, yes, it is. He wants to end cash bail and
It's
defund
not where the
police.
party's headed. Wait a minute. You just said it's where the party's headed. Look.
No, I said
the
that's
Democratic
Mamdani.
Party.
Your friend says he wants to end cash bail, and Mamdani said he wants to defund the police. I'll put it up on the
Listen.
screen again.
Sean, you don't have to. Listen to what I'm saying. The Democratic Party, I believe this. Let's have this blunt conversation. Like I said the other day on CNN, we need to do better. We do. Now, by the way, where are the states in this country with the highest crime rates, the highest murder rates? That includes Louisiana, includes Mississippi, Arkansas, the Republican-led states. Why don't both parties say we need to do better? But let's not do better by breaking the Constitution and bringing in the military. Let's do better by helping our police officers to do their job.
Mr. Mayor, let me put up on the screen, because I've heard you say this. I anticipated you would say it on this program. Let me show you cities with the most homicides per 100,000 and the political party of the mayor. Take a look. St. Louis, Missouri, Democrat. New Orleans, Democratic mayor. Detroit, none. Washington, D.C., Democratic mayor. Atlanta, Democratic mayor. Indianapolis, Democratic mayor. Chicago, we know Brandon Johnson, Democratic mayors. You make these statements, but it's not true.
Do states have no responsibility for the safety of their people? Let's go down that list. Let's go down that list. Missouri, Republican-led state. Louisiana, Republican-led state. Georgia, Republican-led. Indiana, Republican-led. Come on. How about both parties take responsibility? How about both sides say we need to do better?
Donald Trump is trying to save lives, and Democrats are the ones out there screaming bloody murder because he is putting more officers and boots on the ground, and he's showing that when you put more law enforcement in place, people are safe and secure, and law and order exists.
Come on, that's not law enforcement. That's military.
Why are they still clinging to
wait,
and reimagine the police? Why would you support no bail laws?
They are not. We believe in effective policing, and it should be done by police officers who are trained for those neighborhoods, those environments, who are from our own city, not military. Wait, Sean, you're switching over. Why would you send in the military when this country needs defense? Why would you send in the military to do a job that's meant to be done by police officers? Do you think the NYPD is incapable of doing their job?
Because
I'm asking you a question. Do you think the NYPD can't do their job? I say they can.
Since Obama's been president, I've been scrolling the names of people shot and killed in Chicago for years, and nobody's done a damn thing, and no lives are being saved. Now, we have the #1 of any nation on earth, our capital city, the #1 homicide rate. Baghdad is safer. Mexico City is safer. El Salvador, San Salvador is safer than Washington, D.C. And we discovered, like New York, they're cooking the books, and then they're not even giving us the accurate figures. Why would you be against boots on the ground to help people live safe and secure, have law and order so they can pursue happiness? You get the last word.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I am not against having the number of law enforcement officers we needed. That means police officers. That means working with local communities with police officers. Whoa. With police officers. This is what Bill Bratton said to me. Wait, real simple thing, Sean. Bill Bratton said to me, the way to create safety is by bringing police and community together in common cause.
Okay, you're not running for mayor.
You can't do that with the military. You cannot do that with the military.
You're supporting a guy that said defund the police.
Again, wait till he gets to office. If he does, and I think
he's going to change when he gets to office?
I think he will be very clear about keeping people safe. I really do.
All right. I still like you, even though I think you're nuts.
Same here, brother.
Appreciate you being on.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.